Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews. Well, if you're a big listener to our weekly radio show or subscriber to our newsletter, then you know that the growth of the non-medical senior care industry has been exponential. Today you're going to hear from the co-founder and CEO of AristoCare, Dana Rambow, and that's coming up in just a moment, so stick around because we've got a great show.
Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our very special edition of Franchise Interviews. And today you're going to hear from the co-founder and CEO of AristoCare, Dana Rambow, and that's coming up in just 20 seconds. So stick around because we got a great show. Economical way. Hi, Dana. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. Thank you, Marty.
Hey, Dana, welcome. Joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson, who's also the president of Diamond Financial Services. And I know you wanted to say hi to Dana, Don.
Yeah, hi, Dana. Thanks for coming on the show. And I just wanted to say I think you're in a great industry and, providing such a much-needed service. And both Marty and I are not surprised that your franchise is doing well and you're getting a lot of interest. So, we look forward to, hearing all about AristoCare.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dana, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Congratulate you on the growth and success of AristoCare. Since I've last spoken to you, Don and I were talking earlier that this is one of those franchise opportunities that doesn't just provide a financial reward, but an opportunity where you can kind of feel good about yourself at the end of the day, And so you're doing a fantastic job. I've been following you guys since I last spoke to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is definitely a feel-good industry. You're making a positive impact in people's lives, and it is not only do you, we call it kind of a psychic income as well as obviously having a sound financial future.
Sure, absolutely. Dana, what were you doing before starting AristoCare? I know you have an interesting background.
Well, I've been a nurse for, coming up on 27 years. About 20 of those have been in home health care.
Right.
And prior to, opening up our own company with AristoCare, and I was actually a VP of operations for a large healthcare corporation called Integrated Health Services out of Baltimore, Maryland. And I actually ran 80 locations for them in 8 states. And I was actually started working for them because we were acquired as a small national corporation, Care Team Healthcare Services, and I worked for them as a branch manager and a regional director prior to the acquisition.
Right. That's something. Yeah, one of the things I admired was your experience, Dana. I think that's so important. Don and I, always emphasize to prospective franchisees, when you're going through the UFOC agreement, to look at the founders or the top management's experience in the industry. I think that's so important.
Well, it definitely is because, I don't believe that there's probably any situation that could occur that I probably haven't lived through.
Sure, absolutely.
Right. And certainly our system is based on those 20 years of experience, and actually my management team has over 100 years of experience in home health care. So we have a very strong support system for the franchisees.
Right, absolutely. And what I admired about your franchise, Dana, is how you have a lot of family involved, really from the beginning. I remember even, when I interviewed you for the newsletter, a couple of years ago, your dad came out of retirement, and, your husband, who's an attorney, has been a great asset as well to AristoCare, So can you describe the history of the organization?
Sure. While I was traveling around the country for, fairly significantly for 5 years, my father, who was retired and had owned his own real estate company,
right.
Kept telling me, you need to start your own business. And at the time, I felt pretty comfortable in my job, and I had a lot of perks, and I really didn't feel the need to, be an entrepreneur. And then, of course, back in 1998 when, Medicare went through all of its changes,
right.
IHS then chose to sell their home care division, and then my opportunity was to either move from Tucson, Arizona, which is where our corporate office is and our home is,
right,
or travel 5 days a week. And having 4 children, that just didn't seem like a real palatable choice.
Sure.
And so I told my dad, okay, well, I think the timing is right to do this, but you have to come out of retirement and help me.
Right.
Which he did. And, we actually started out in a little small office in a townhome, actually, that we rented. And my mom and dad helped. My mom answered the phone. My dad helped, process applications and such. And
right, absolutely.
I did the marketing, the nurse case management, the health interviews, the opens, the case management of the clients initially. We grew very rapidly, acquiring a lot more caregivers as well as office staff.
Right.
And we were into the business probably about 3 years when my husband, who is an attorney, decided to depart from his partnership with his practice and come to work for us as our CFO and general counsel. My older children have all worked for the company one time or another, and I think that that's one of the blessings that you have by having your own business and being able to work with family members. My sister Marilyn also works with me in franchise sales.
That's great.
And my niece and nephews have worked for the organization.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's nice. It's a real family business.
It really is, yeah.
It's interesting how things all came together, some outside of your control with what happened with your company, and all came together, family business. It's nice how everything's come together like that.
It is, and my dad was really the impetus for us to our decision to franchise as well. As we have 3 company-owned stores in our home health companies, and we're actually opening up a 4th south of our Green Valley office in Nogales, Arizona, close to the border, because there's a huge need down there. But my dad said after we opened the first 3, okay, we should probably move to Phoenix or somewhere else and open up some others. And he said, out of the 80 locations, well, what were the characteristics of your top managers? And I said, well, out of those 80, I probably had, a half a dozen that were, what I considered my A-team managers, and they really had owner's eyes. And then my dad said, well, then we need to franchise.
Right, absolutely.
And I said, I have no idea what franchising wasn't really something that I had ever done before, or really had any industry knowledge of. And so we went to the IFA convention.
Right.
And we all took different symposium tracks and came out of that with the great feeling like, yes, absolutely, we can do this. So that was the impetus for even the franchise corporation.
Right.
How would you describe the AristoCare franchise system, Dana?
Well, we're pretty unique in home health care franchises because we're a full medical, non-Medicare model.
Right.
And most medical models are actually Medicare models. And obviously with my history and industry knowledge of Medicare was just something I really didn't feel, because it's such a labile governmental program, I just didn't really feel like it would provide the stability to, potential franchisees to doing that piece of business. I mean, I saw thousands of agencies close their doors in 1998 due to the Medicare reg changes and reimbursement. So we decided to do full medical, obviously being a nurse and always being involved with, everything from companionship through nursing. That was my expertise. And as we examined the industry, there were, hundreds of franchises out there that are the non-medical model, where they do mostly companionship with some light personal care, and really felt, given my expertise and background, that we could, continue with the full medical model we were providing and then replicate that in a franchise system.
Right. How big is your industry, Dana, in general?
Well, back statistically in, the early 2000s, it was $41.3 billion in just home health care spending. And health care spending, of course, is astronomically larger, but just alone in home health care, there was $41 million. And it's already up to billion. It's about to $70 billion now. And there's supposed to be a 379% increase in senior care between now and 2040. So with the graying of America, obviously there's huge opportunities for people needing health care and for providers coming into the system.
Right. And that's just because people are living longer, Dana? Is that?
Well, yeah, you've got the baby boomers, and people are living longer, but there's just, the theory of the baby boomers was to have more children.
Sure.
Earlier on. Now people, tend to have less, but, those people that were, in the 4 to 6, sibling families are now becoming senior citizens.
Sure, exactly. Absolutely.
They are definitely growing, and people's health, people are more health conscious, the seniors in particular, and being physically fit later into their lives and definitely living longer.
And also, Dana, your services are mainly, of course, for senior citizens, but you can also help people who are younger.
Yes, we do. We actually have a lot of specialty niche programs within our system, which, again, kind of is unique to AristoCare. And we do, orthopedic recovery and plastic surgery recovery programs that really usually are, geared more towards younger, the younger population.
Right. That's something. I was interviewed by the LA Times back in 2000, Dana, on what industries to look out for, and the whole article turned out to focus in on the senior care industry. I don't know if you remember this, but Entrepreneur wrote a similar article on the senior care industry, and it was actually referenced at the franchise show. I can't remember if it was in 2005 or 2004, but I remember walking by your booth, and there was a lot of people by your booth, and I think that whole article created a lot of buzz about that industry as well.
It did, and that was in 2005. Entrepreneur Magazine wrote that, one of the industries, the hottest industries, was, the healthcare, home healthcare market. And I think we were probably 3 people deep for 3 days.
You were, yeah, because I couldn't get near you.
Because of it. Before we sold our first franchise to Randy and Sharon Radcliffe in Orange County, we had actually interviewed and had discovery days and talked with probably, I think, 91 qualified candidates. I mean, financially they qualified, but they really didn't have the passion for taking care of people in their home, which is a big criteria for us.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's great how you just make people happier, and it makes you feel better, and I think you've proven that, I guess, people could recuperate more quickly from being at home. They're happier. They're
sure.
So I think that's a real neat aspect of your business.
I don't think there isn't anybody out there that wouldn't rather recuperate in their own home versus being in a facility.
Absolutely, I agree with that.